Well, I didn't know Russle Brand was a prop comic. Watch this clip.
What was your thinking of taking it into court? And what you were seeing, looking at some passages, what were the relevant passages for you?
All right, thank you for asking me.
Thank you. I didn't know that.
A little bit. It was this from Isaiah. You're right, Bear did say, be chill. Sometimes I lose the chill, man. Just breathe. It's this. I don't like that today in the old gallery, but remember you just said it's a high spot. This is from Isaiah. Excuse me. Man, I'm not gonna mark it. It says here. The verse that I was looking at that day was not this. I can't actually find the verse that I had that day. But this is good enough. This is from Isaiah 12.
Russle Brand has mastered the art of Christianese, but he couldn't remember a simple Bible verse that was so important he brought to court, where he's facing criminal charges of rape, sexual assault, and indecent assault, which of course he denies. Hi folks, I'm Ryan, your Culty BFF, and I had to point out how this conversion act works very well with the MAGA crowd that he surrounds himself with. But will it be enough to build his reputation? He admits just enough to seem as though he's genuine, truthful, repentant, and that he's owning his shit. But the entire time, Russell is the one controlling the parameters and the narrative. Russell is the magician holding the cards. He doesn't reject the word predator as much as he tries to Russell rebrand it. See what I did there? Play this clip.
And I think the question was, has it made you a more successful predator? And even then, I objected to the idea of predation as persecutory, but predation as simply an amplification of looking for something with intention.
Russell ostensibly says he objected to predation as a pejorative and describes predation as looking for something with intention. You see, it's so simple, right? What he does is he takes a word like predator and tries to sand the teeth off of it, and suddenly it's not about power or exploitation. It's just an innocent guy looking for something with intention. Isn't that cute? Play this clip.
Where I was both emotionally and spiritually and geographically, that was a legal thing to be doing, but not a morally sound thing to be doing.
There it is. Morally and spiritually wrong, but legal. By his own words, the law is not a moral compass. But see, guys, he's wrestled with his demons. He's suffered. He's carried that burden, his heavy cross, if you will. But now he's Christian maxing. He's devoted his entire life to Christ, and he even believes that sex is only for marriage. Russell can now add his name to a list of MAGAs that are reformed bad guys, like King David, already sitting comfortably on the throne, using royal privilege over Bathsheba, then having her husband killed. And when I say privilege, I mean rape. And like Lot, who followed the social patriarchal code by offering up his young daughters to the mob, even though I think that most of us would agree that is morally rotten. Play this clip.
On a personal level, yes, of course, that's wrong. It's morally and spiritually wrong. It's legal. It's not a legal issue.
Legal, but not moral. Just like what Lot and David did. And that's where the Bible becomes incredibly convenient, because you can turn violent, exploitative, morally rotten men into complicated servants of God, because the Bible is malleable and misogyny always knows how to point toward the patriarchy. And in Russell's narrative, the women vanish as if they're NPCs in his world. It's Russell's demons, Russell's burden, Russell's suffering, Russell's redemption. And the women are just props, like his testimony had a Bible for a prop, and he has a cross for a prop. Allegedly. That's what makes this kind of Christian Russell rebrand useful, because it takes harm that women feel, that women go through, that women describe, and it turns it into a man's spiritual character arc. Now the story is not about what he admittedly has done or what the women experienced. It becomes part of his testimony, his suffering journey, his growth, his salvation, his new life in Christ. Zip zilts zero about the women. The entire cult of Christendom is primed to treat harm as part of redemption stories instead of listening to the women. This interview was a complete train wreck, and Piers Morgan was his typical fence-sitting little bit self. If anybody wants a part 2, let me know, because there's so much more wrong with the culty machinations and mechanics that are at work here. Thanks, folks. Pardon me.